everybody, it's Keryn from Walking on Travels. Thanks for joining us tonight for Talking on Travel. Tonight we're talking to Jody Halsted from Ireland Family Travel. She's an expert in all things Ireland, and I'll let her introduce herself a little more.
Oh, all things Ireland. I like to say that we are enthusiasts. I try to avoid the expert thing because if I do get tripped up, then I don't look probably so much of a fake. But I've been traveling to Ireland for, gosh, almost 15 years now, once a year. And when I had my kids, it didn't stop. And so we visit Ireland with the kids at least once a year, usually for 3 weeks or more. So we spend quite a bit of time there every year going, some tourist places, and then really working on getting off of that tourist track and discovering that Ireland that everybody says they want to, they want to see it. They want to be a part of it and feel like they're really getting into the real Ireland. So we really work hard on discovering places like that to share with other people.
Fantastic. How old are your girls now?
They are 9 and 11.
Oh my goodness, they're getting big.
Yeah. Right. It's kind of funny to watch them grow up because I know when I started blogging about family travel, Brenna was an infant. So my 11-year-old was a baby. And I'm sure that you've seen that too when you go back and look at things. You're like, oh my gosh, how long have I been doing this?
Oh yeah, my youngest always thinks that he's the one in all the baby pictures from the beginning. I'm like, nope, that's your big brother. I'm like, there was another baby before you, buddy.
Yep, it's funny.
So do your girls have a favorite place in Ireland?
Gosh, that's a really good question. And, I don't think I've asked them that. But it seems like every place we go, it's like, okay, this is the place we really love. And then we're on to the next place, the next trip or something. It's like, okay, no, this is the place I really love. So it's like everything's a new experience and every place has its own charm and its own magic. But, we do have our places that we really return to a lot due to friends or just, there's always something else to discover. So.
Okay. So St. Paddy's Day is coming up. Is that a time of year that you recommend people do go to Ireland, or should they be avoiding it like the plague, especially if they have kids?
Well, it's really funny because St. Patrick's Day in Ireland only really recently started having these big festivals like you see in America.
Yeah.
It used to be a much more religious holiday, very, very laid back, very, things were closed. You wouldn't possibly get to a pub and it's still in some rural areas you won't because it is still a religious holiday there. That said, the St. Patrick's Day parade, especially in Dublin, down in Killarney, those are really big events and you're going to have a crush of people there. So, it depends on it. Do you want the crowds? Do you not want the crowds? Now, the weather in March, that's, I think to me, that's more of the issue because your March weather can really go either way. We've been in March and had snow.
Oh my gosh.
In the south of Ireland, which is really rare. But, or you could go in March and right now I know they're having just amazingly beautiful weather. So, you kind of have to watch it and think, am I going to take the chance on that weather or am I going to maybe go at another time? But, there's really not a bad time to go.
So for you, what would be the best time to go? What would you recommend other people do?
We went last year and it was the end of August, beginning of September, and it was ideal. Now, the running joke over there is that the weather is perfect when the kids go back to school.
Excellent.
And that's right around the time that all the kids are getting ready to go back to school over there. So I think that was probably one of the most ideal weather trips we've ever had. But, you don't go to Ireland for the weather. So you really just go when it fits your schedule and just make sure that you are packed and prepared for anything.
That sounds good. So let's talk a little bit more about the weather. I know it's very similar to England and Scotland, where there's a little bit of rain that makes all those beautiful green pictures that we all love to see. Anything that you recommend people packing, especially because it's kind of inevitable that you're going to hit rain when you travel there?
Yeah, even if it's just a little bit of a soft weather in the morning, it's going to be damp. I always recommend really good warm socks and maybe a few extra pair, although you can definitely buy those nice warm wool socks over there. Water resistant shoes, especially if you're going to be out hiking and being active, you definitely want to make sure that you've got some really good water resistant hiking boots. A jacket that can, can repel the rain, maybe not a raincoat. I've never really felt the need for a raincoat per se, but a water resistant jacket is never, never a miss, never a bad choice there. And then layers. Always plan to dress in layers, because you may start out on a cool, cloudy day, but then as you're out and about, the sun's going to come out, it's going to get warmer. So I always recommend layers and really packing for the worst case and hoping for the best.
Excellent advice. So when it comes to trip planning, what kind of, right now, I know that you found some, but what kind of airfares are you seeing getting to Ireland at the moment?
I just found, because we fly out of the Midwest. So if you're flying off the East Coast, the fares are always cheaper. It's a shorter hop. Now, I just got a fare out of Chicago for my husband. He leaves about 2 weeks after we do. He doesn't get to spend the whole month in Ireland this year. And I got his fare for, I want to say, $8.75, which is still round trip,
Still not bad.
Chicago to Dublin. I'm not
Yeah.
going to complain. I spent about $200 less per ticket for the girls and I 2 weeks earlier. And that's June travel. So the rates are really good this year. That's the $6.75 is what I paid last year, end of August. So the rates are still really good as long as you have some flexibility in your days. If you're saying I have to leave on Sunday and I have to come back on Saturday, well, you're going to take what you get. But if you can have some flexibility in your days of travel, you're really going to be able to find some great deals.
Oh, fantastic. I know. I was just talking to a friend the other day about if it feels like domestic travel is so much more expensive this year, while international travel, you can really score some amazing deals. I just saw a flight for like $550 from DC to Milan. And I was just like, are you kidding? And that was in the summertime. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't even get to Seattle for that, this summer to bring my kids back to visit their friends. I'm like, forget it. We should just go to Italy instead. So now I'm trying to convince my husband that we should do
Well, and it is really funny because, U.S. travel has a tendency to really get expensive, especially in the summer, because, more people are traveling. They have that ability to, take the time off when the kids are out of school. So, there's always going to be the supply and demand issue that you're not going to maybe find, beginning of June, some kids are still in school. So we may be, finding that the demand isn't quite so high. So, again, it's just flexibility.
That's true. It's something to think about, because I know our kids don't get out of school till mid-June, but we have friends that get out in early June. Some of them get out in late June. And since we've had so many snow days on the East Coast this year, we might be looking at late June as well. I am not looking forward to that email that I'm sure is coming, or at least some note coming home from the school. So for for first-time visitors to Ireland, what is kind of a typical itinerary that you recommend to people? Because obviously people want to see Dublin, they want to see a castle, they want to see those beautiful flowing fields. And
Right. Well, and what I find is that when I have people contact me about their family trips to Ireland, Dublin really doesn't rank that high, because when they're getting over there, they really want to see those iconic spots. They want to see, Blarney, the Ring of Kerry, the Cliffs of Moher, and things like that. What I usually recommend, if a family doesn't have very, we have to see these, I always say the southwest of Ireland, around Killarney, the Ring of Kerry, the Dingle Peninsula, because everything down there, it's exactly what people go to Ireland for. It's the beautiful coastlines, it's the castles, it's the history, it's the, the magic, the tales. You can go on a hawk walk and learn to fly a falcon.
Oh my gosh.
You can, go on a boat ride in the Dingle Peninsula and see, Fungi the dolphin. You can, go horseback riding on the peninsula. So, I mean, everything you really want is down there. And then it's a relatively quick jaunt up the coast to the cliffs. So if you're going in and out of Dublin and you have 10 days, which is usually the the average itinerary because people try to bookend on the weekends. So, you go into Dublin, maybe spend the first day exploring Dublin on foot, get out of Dublin, head down to Cork, Blarney Castle, head over to Killarney, head up to the cliffs, and then back to Dublin is really the typical first itinerary for people who, have those few things that they really want to see.
Okay. So if they wanted to go back, say they did that 10-day trip, and they wanted to go back and they wanted to find some of those hidden little places, what are a couple of your favorite hidden places that you like to check out?
I really love the West Coast. Now, that's not to take away from anything because we just were in West Cork, which is kind of southeast last year, and it was amazing. We were in Northern Ireland last year, and that was just phenomenal. But the west coast of Ireland, even though people, think they know it, it's got the Cliffs of Moher, it's got the Burren, it's got Connemara, but there's so much when you go up north of that. So you're going into Sligo and Donegal and Mayo, and just when we were up in that area, we didn't run into another American.
Oh my goodness.
All the other tourists we ran into were British and German. And that was really a fun, that made it, I think, a little more special for us. Just because we weren't running into the typical tourists that maybe we would run into in other places. So, and you get up in there and, the wild west of Ireland, the coastline is just stunning and terrifying and dramatic. And, the people are just as friendly as anywhere else. And it's a lot of fun. It's a great place to go if you've been to Ireland already, but you're looking for, a little more adventure and a little more wild.
Oh, you're killing me because I've been dying to get to Ireland, and now I'm just like, yes, honey, come on, let's go.
The rates.
Like the rates. Yes. Like, we have freaking flyer miles we have to burn. We just have to figure out how to actually use them because there's nothing ever available.
Right. Oh yeah, right.
So in the summertime, say my husband just wants to sit on a beach, but I really want to explore and hike. Is there a way to do both of that in Ireland? Are there any swimming beaches in Ireland?
There are beautiful. Okay, Ireland has what's called blue flag beaches, and these are the most pristine, gorgeous, stunning beaches that you're going to see. I mean, even, I would say they would compare to a Caribbean beach, except for the fact that the water's cold. I mean, even in the summer, you're going to see a lot of people in wetsuits. Now, that said, we were there in the fall one year, and we went to a surf school. And there were people out there, and this was like September, October, and there were people out surfing in just their swimsuits. And we were standing on the beach, in jackets like this. So they're a hardy bunch in Ireland.
That reminds me of Pacific Northwest surfers, because those surfers would be like covered up head to toe with the caps on, and they're like, but we are still surfing those waves right there. We don't care.
Dude, do you know that Ireland is actually huge for surfing on the West Coast?
Well, I imagine the waves must be really good. So.
And there's a wave that forms at the base of the Cliffs of Moher called Aileen's Wave. Only comes up like maybe 20, 25 times a year. And they just get this influx of surfers. It's supposed to be one of the best waves in the world if you are, one of those crazy gotta surf the best kind of people.
If you travel with your board, then you're going there.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I actually it's publishing tomorrow. I did an interview with Catherine Webster, who is the director of the visitor center at the Cliffs of Moher. And she was telling me, we talked about the wave and kind of people and how she's seen people, carrying their surfboard down the goat tracks of the Cliffs of Moher. So you're talking about tracks like this.
It's like walking down the Grand Canyon with your board. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So surfing is big, but there are beautiful, beautiful beaches. Now, on a lovely, sunny, gorgeous day, yeah, you can lay on that beach and have a great time and search for shells and sea glass and have a picnic. But, the swimming is going to be chilly. So it's just a fact. But the beaches are beautiful if you find a lovely blue flag.
Oh my goodness. So let's move over a little bit to kind of the best things to bring back from Ireland. What are some really great souvenirs? I know we already talked about warm socks, and that reminds me that there's a few sheep in Ireland.
There's a lot of sheep in Ireland. Yeah, there are. And Ireland has some of the greatest souvenirs. I mean, I went, it was so funny. One of my best friends, she said, bring me back a souvenir. So we're up on the Inishowen Peninsula in Donegal, and we find this great shop where this woman, hand makes all these woolens. I find this fabulous hat, and I bring her back the hat, and she's like, oh, I love it. I was kind of hoping for a keychain. Because you have those Ireland souvenirs are just kind of typical. Your keychains with the clovers and everything. So you're definitely going to find those. You're going to find stuffed sheep and all those other things. But some of my favorite souvenirs have been sweaters and hats and socks. Really nice woolens, because the wool there is so beautifully tended that it's unlike really what you're going to find anywhere in the US. It's just so unique. Let's see, for the chocolates. Oh my gosh. So there are, chocolatiers all over Ireland.
I just don't think about Ireland and chocolate at all.
You don't, but there are chocolatiers all over Ireland and the chocolate, see, here's the thing with chocolates, and it's a European thing, because they use, milk chocolate in the US is all full of chemicals and stuff. So if you take like a Cadbury bar made by Hershey and a Cadbury bar made in the UK or in Ireland, they're completely different because they use real milk.
There's not that wax that's on it.
Exactly. So chocolates are great, and especially if you can get like a whiskey chocolate or a whiskey caramel. There's a place in County Wicklow called the Chocolate Garden of Ireland. So Wicklow is the garden county. So the Chocolate Garden of Ireland, they actually have this handmade dark chocolate caramel sea salt. Oh my gosh, it's to die for. Really, and they do these chocolate workshops there. So you can actually go in and they walk you through their chocolate process of, the beans and the white chocolate and the dark chocolate and the differences and everything. So it's just incredible. So yeah, chocolate is a big one for me. Let's see, we adopt animals when we're there sometimes. So you'll go maybe to the donkey sanctuary, or there's a place in Mayo that takes horses that have been neglected or abandoned. And so you can often adopt an animal, which is really kind of a fun thing to do because, it helps to support them. And, often you'll get, a picture of the animal you've adopted, or, they'll send you letters and stuff like that. So it's kind of a nice, continuing thing once you get home. Let's see. I have an Ireland souvenirs post. I just put it up. Please. So I'm kind of running through that. Whiskey. Always whiskey.
Any favorite whiskey distillery that you found?
We were at Bushmills last year, and that was really nice. There's the Jameson Experience, which is down near Cork City, and then trying to think. I know there's one in Dublin, and I can't think of which one it is now. There's one in Offaly.
The Polo Mama's saying
and I've lost that one too. So Paddy's, I've not had Paddy's. Yes. Bushmills is good. I don't know about Paddy's, so I don't know where that comes from. If you're in the west of Ireland, the Connemara marble, which is that green with the kind of the white through it, Connemara marble is always great. And then down in the southwest in County Kerry, it's called Kerry glass, so it's got a blue through it that's absolutely gorgeous. So pottery. Lots of pottery places like, let's see, Balik, Waterford, Nicholas Moss. And then if you're in the west of Ireland, in the Burren, there is the Burren Perfumery, and they hand make soaps and perfumes and things like that. So that's always nice too.
Oh my goodness. So many good ideas and reasons for us to be going to Ireland.
There's a lot.
Oh my gosh. So we talked about whiskey. How about before you go on your trip, what are some ways in the US that you can kind of explore Irish culture and get to know a little bit more about their traditions?
A lot of, let's say, more Irish cities. So, Boston, New York, Chicago, Kansas City, all of those places usually have an Irish center or Irish groups of some sort. So those are going to be probably your main source of information in the larger cities. What you could do also is just see if there is an Irish dance school in your city, because I know that, we live in just outside of Des Moines, and we actually have an Irish dance school. My girls are actually practicing right now for performances for our busy season. Walking tours, the one in Kansas City was at Union Station. They actually just opened a new location, so I'm excited to go see it. But so you're going to find Irish culture if you look for it. Friendly Sons of St. Patrick, Hibernian type societies, those things. And then always just look for an Irish festival, because those happen all year, all across the country. And you're going to get all kinds of culture there. You might find Irish language classes. You'll always find Irish music. You're going to find Irish food. You'll find, history. A lot of times you'll have a genealogist or something there. So a good Irish festival is probably one of the funnest things you'll do.
So one thing I know at Irish festivals you can do is eat. So like all good travel chats,
Yes.
let's turn to food, because, that's what we do. We'll wrap it up with some food. So what are some more typical Irish dishes that people should make sure they try? But also, is the cuisine in Ireland, I know in like London, they always had a reputation for just really bland pub food, but it's really become this international cuisine. How are you seeing things transition in Ireland?
It really has. So you're right. Ireland really had that bland potatoes,
cabbage
kind
and
of
corned
thought
beef
to it. And while you're still, which isn't even Irish, I'm just going to say that's American.
I was going to say my grandma liked to make
but
that.
Ireland has. I make a mean corned beef at St. Patrick's Day, I will say. But Ireland really has undergone a food revival, and you're going to find that everything is really fresh and local. We were at a place called Kilshanny House, which is in the Burren. Now, the Burren is the far west of Ireland, just north of the Cliffs of Moher, and that area has really come into its own in the last year or so, and has won major European food awards, because you can do what's called the Burren Food Trail, and you're going to find, a place that makes goat cheese. You're going to find, grass-raised pigs and sheep and cattle. The fish is all right there out of the ocean, fresh garden produce. So just really everything is super fresh, just, from 10 miles away, if that, and so creatively served and plated, and just it's just so fresh that it doesn't even really need a whole lot of cover on it. It's just so good. And and you're going to still find your traditional things, your Irish breakfast, which is always the best way to start the day, with your black pudding, your white pudding, your sausage, your the rasher bacon, your eggs, your potatoes, your tomato, your beans. If you're out exploring, that's the way you want to start the day. But then, in the pubs in the afternoon, your lunch, you're likely to find, just a toasty, which is a toasted sandwich of cheese and meat. Definitely soups. You'll still find your shepherd's pies, your fish and chips, your fresh steamed mussels, but you're going to find so much more. And I think that the food has really become big in Ireland. So you have some places like Kinsale in County Cork, the Burren, and then Dublin, where this whole foodie culture has really just come up and is just blowing it out of the water.
Oh my goodness. So our ladies on the side, we have Japola Mama and Walking Tourists. They're saying in the Fitzwilliam Hotel, there's a Michelin star rated restaurant that is outstanding, and the seafood in the Sligo sounds like it's good. And then she's also saying Clontarf Castle is amazing as well.
That's also right outside Dublin.
And then Walking Tourist says that she loved the Irish breakfast at their hotel in Limavandi, which I probably just killed that name. I apologize.
Limavady, it's all good. Well, and we were at Ashford Castle 2 falls. We were there for Halloween, and the kids did this Harry
Ooh,
Potter thing, so they were
oh my
gone for
gosh.
6 hours. It was, oh wait, I'll put that link in the side because seriously, because Halloween
Yeah.
started in Ireland. And so they have at Ashford Castle every year they kind of turn it
Oh
into
my gosh.
Hogwarts. And so we get there and there were Hogwarts robes on the bed for the girls and wands. And they went off and did that. And Doug and I had
Oh.
6 hours to ourselves, which is just
And
amazing.
almost unheard
And
of in a lot of ways when you're traveling with your kids. So
it is. Um, and so part of the whole, Halloween deal included a meal in the
oh.
five-star restaurant there. And so you're thinking about, just beautifully plated food. It's all these, it's like 7 courses of little. So, it was this, little bit of baby back rib stuff and then scallops beautifully placed and this beautiful soup with foam. It was just incredible. And you have you really get a full
Yeah.
flavor of Ireland but beautiful and yeah,
I'm
so
laughing at the
phenomenal.
comments in the side where Mama's saying she's very envious of that. Yeah, she's like,
Accio.
that dinner. And I'm like, I want that. She says, House Elf, awesome. So, like all good conversations, regards to food and Harry Potter.
Yeah, well, and the kids when they were there, they did kitchen stuff, so they baked with the house elves, and then they had tea in the gardens, and then magic shows, and just it was phenomenal.
So let's wrap up our food chat with a little bit. Are there any traditional Irish sweets that people should definitely check out?
Oh gosh,
I don't really think of Ireland and their like sugar, basically.
You don't. I think that the thing, if people are thinking sweets, probably what comes to mind first is it's called the 99, and it's an ice cream cone with a stick of Cadbury flake.
You had me at that.
Now, what I always recommend is if people are going into Dublin, Killarney, or Dingle, that they go to Murphy's Ice Cream. Murphy's has the best ice cream in the entire world, and I'm just going to say it because it's amazing. So it's all natural, and so T-Bex in Dublin 3 years ago, I think. I'm telling Matt Long from Landlopers about this, and so the milk that they use is from the Kerry cow, which is incredibly rare. So I'm telling Matt this, and he's like, "Well, pandas are rare too, but that doesn't mean they have, they make good ice cream." But it's really heavy cream. And so it's really, really rich. So, thinking like gelato rich, right? But then they take all these beautiful natural ingredients. Like they harvest the sea salt for their sea salt ice cream. They harvest the honeycomb for their honeycomb ice cream. They have this phenomenal caramelized brown bread ice cream seriously, it's just to die for. Caramelized brown bread ice cream. Yeah, it's so good. You can't even imagine it. So, yeah, it's just amazing. So definitely the ice cream, and then you have small independent shops. I mean, all over the country. Again, there are chocolate shops just all over the country where they hand make chocolates, and they'll use all these natural ingredients. Like they'll go into the mountains and pick the lavender for it, or they'll harvest, like I said, the honeycombs and everything for it. So everything. You're going to find those, you'll find chocolate shops all over the world, but you're not going to find them like you'll find them in Ireland just because of the natural ingredients.
We've got coming in the comments, hammer and dulce. It's like a peanutless bristle.
It's like a peanutless brittle. So you're just looking at sugar and honey and and it basically it's crunchy and melts in your mouth all at once.
Well, I want to wrap this up because we're just about out of time. And Jody, I know you do a weekly chat that centers around Ireland. Can you tell us a little bit more about your weekly chat and what you're going to be talking about next?
It's actually a bi-weekly chat. I do it twice a month. And I usually have a guest from Ireland. It's called Traveling in Ireland, and it kind of focuses on the people that you will meet maybe during your Ireland travel. So I'll talk with B&B owners or hostel owners. This coming Sunday, I'm actually talking with the director of Connemara Maths Academy. And Connemara Maths Academy is about 2 or 3 years old, and it's a summer math camp for kids ages, I think it starts at 10 and goes up to 17. And the really phenomenal thing about this is the locations. My daughter is actually going to the first session in June, and she will be staying at Kylemore Abbey in Connemara. So if you've ever seen any pictures of Ireland with a castle that sits on a lake with a big hill behind it, that's Kylemore Abbey. So we are actually excited because we're going to get to go behind the scenes and see this. But so we're going to be talking about summer camp in Ireland, kind of where this came from, the whole idea, what is Maths Camp, and the locations they have, which go beyond Kylemore Abbey. They also have camp at Glenstall Abbey in Limerick and the Killary Center in Connemara. And beyond math, they do kind of a hands-on math here where it's really learning, I don't know how to, the cause and effect of math every day. So it's a lot of adventure stuff. I know that they do, zip lining and kayaking and things like that.
Camp.
So
you can't just do math problems the whole time. Fun. So is this an international camp or, like American kids showing up for it, or is it more of just UK and Ireland?
They have a lot of kids that come in from Europe for it. Americans, I don't know. I mean, obviously there just aren't as many. But I know they have had some American students.
Oh, those mathletes.
and like I said, it's still relatively new. So, well, and I was a little worried because Brenna's not. I mean, she's not awful at math, but she's still one of the younger ones that'll be there, and she's not strong in it. And they said that really it's great for kids who maybe aren't as adept at math because it gives them the hands-on understanding of it. So that's what we're doing this Sunday. It's at 2:00 Central, so that would be 8:00 Greenwich Mean Time. And I usually just have a guest and people jump in and yeah.
Fantastic. We can't wait to learn more about Ireland from you. I want to say thank you to Jody from IrelandFamilyVacations.com for joining us tonight and telling us why we all need to go to Ireland for the first time or go back to Ireland. I know I am rearing to go because I've been dying to go for years and we still haven't made it there. Thanks everybody for joining us on Talking on Travel this week, and we'll see you again next week at 7:30 Eastern Time on Wednesdays. Thanks again. Have a great night.
Thank you.